Indeed, it came as a surprise for us to hear this good news. One thing we do know is that you are indeed a president who is straightforward, honest and hardworking, and above all the welfare of the Gambian people at heart. This has been manifested since you took the mantle of power as President of the Republic of the Gambia. We hereby extend once more our sincere thanks and appreciation for this good intention towards our family lineage. We will ever be grateful to you for this thoughtful throughout our stay in the country. We are kindly asking you to continue the good relationship and work with our son in guiding and advising him at all times. We are praying that Almighty Allah guide, protect and direct you at all times throughout your stay in this world. We remain to be your loyal subject. It concludes. The fight against iodine deficiency disorders has taken another giant leap as the authorities move to enforce a regulation that empowers security agents at the border entry points to seize and confiscate any salt entering the country that is not iodized. This follows a massive sensitization campaign undertaken by the National Nutrition Agency to capacitize security agencies on the regulation. Modu Jallo picks up the rest of that story.
The massive sensitization campaign targeting security agencies on the control of the inflow of non-iodized salt into the Gambia.
We must have to put in place mechanisms that will help us in enforcing that regulation. So we say, well, the best way to do that is not only through the Minister of Health, through the public health officers, but also we have custom officers in the borders, we have police in the borders, we have immigration at the border posts, we have the national intelligence at the border posts. We have to empower them for them to be able to help in the control of inflow of non-iodized salt in the country. So we have trained quite a number of enforcement officers in the country, across the country, to ensure that wherever they are, when salt is coming into the country, they can use the regulation as the base of their action and control that inflow of that non-iodized salt coming into the country.
This is aimed at ensuring that the country achieve the universal salt iodization target. But according to Malam Fofana, the Deputy Executive Director of NANA, controlling the inflow of salt will also help optimize local salt production, which currently is very low, by working with relevant stakeholders.
So what we are trying to advocate for is to work with the salt producers and the traders to form into an association. And that association can develop proposals that will be shared with the private sector, with the donor partners, to help them in improving the local production of salt, at the same time improve the quality of the salt that they are producing. Yes, over the years we have worked with numerous communities. We try to supply them with the machines to iodize the little salt that they are producing. But that's not adequate. What is important now is to work with them to develop proposals that can help in getting in funding to increase the capacity of the production.
Currently 90% of all salt consumed in the Gambia is imported, and most of it passes through the country's borders. Therefore, security agencies at border posts have a crucial role to play in this crusade. Joseph Eninjai, a customs manager at the Gambia Revenue Authority, believes such collaboration with NANA is timely.
It's very important, because if you say 90% of what is coming in is passing through the borders, and the borders are mined by security forces, that means if the security forces are not that stringent, that alert, then will not reach the household consumption of even 50%, and that is a detriment to the nation.
Now the security agencies are empowered by law to seize and confiscate any non-iodized salt.
When they seize it, they'll invite NANA. NANA will come look at the salt again, do titration tests from the health laboratory, and if they still see that the iodine deficiency is in the salt, then they will iodize it. After iodizing it, we can sell it back by auction, and the proceeds will go to government. But the owner will be confiscated from him. He will no longer have the salt, and he'll also be charged a penalty.
This approach is more stringent and wider in scope as it incorporates the security agencies. Until now, much emphasis has been on using public health officials to enforce the regulation. This, Malang Fofana argues, could achieve even greater results.
For us to be able to ensure that before salt gets into the market, it's iodized. And that's where the role of other agencies are come in. And regulation ensures that salt imported into the country, salt distributed in the country, salt exports for sale in the country is iodized.
The president of the Salt Producers and Traders Association, Alaji Filije Nyasi, welcomed efforts by the agency to rigorously enforce the food safety and fortification regulation. Filije believes this will reduce iodine deficiency disorders which affect mostly women and children. He also pledged his association's support in the crusade, saying they have also laid down mechanisms that would sanction any of their members who fail to iodize their salt. According to the multiple indicator cluster survey, only 22% of Gambian households consume iodized salt, a negligible figure given Nana's unrelenting campaign to raise awareness amongst Gambians. This latest effort, it is hoped, will now compel more and more people to consume iodized salt. Mamadou Jallow, GRTS.
The Department of Forestry, in partnership with its stakeholders, has on Wednesday planted 1,000 seedlings in Bijilo Forest Ecotourism Park, courtesy of the British High Commission to the Gambia. The seedlings comprise of African mahogany, silk cotton, and bush mango. As Buba SMCC reports, the gesture served as a complement to the efforts of the government to promote ecotourism as well as control the extinction of the country's wildlife for posterity.
The planting of trees in the park in the form of fruit trees will not only serve as a source of food and habitation for wildlife, but it will as well generate income for the people as attraction for tourists and trekkers. Accordingly, this huge gesture by the British High Commission to the Gambia is described by the Department of Forestry and the Bijilo Forest Ecotourism Park as significant and timely.
The idea is to improve the number of fruit trees we have in the park, because we have problem on feeding the monkeys. Because of the limited number of fruit trees we have in the park, this is causing monkeys invading into local crops, the pesta and destroy these crops. So we want to plant more fruit trees so that this will sustain monkeys here. It will also provide shelter, protection and security.
The president of Gambia Tourist Guards, Mustafa Job, said they deem it fitting to partake in this tree planting exercise, stating that it is a collective responsibility as stakeholders in the industry to contribute their quota either in cash or in kind to promote ecotourism in the country.
Every year we come out in our numbers to clean the park, because this is one of the attractions we have as a tourist industry. So last week they wrote to us, they said that they have funding sponsorship from the British Embassy, that they give them about 1,000 plants which they want to plant into the forest. So that is why we mobilize our group. We come over to participate in that tree planting, because as a forest it attracts tourists to come over to see the insect, to see the birds and the beautiful nature. So to contribute to sustain that forest is that we are willing to do that.
It's a collective responsibility.
It's a collective responsibility as stakeholders in the industry to mobilize either our resources or our physical help to the forest to come over to clean the area and to plant these trees. I think that way the forest will continue to grow and it is something that will be sustainable.
San Silva is the Product Development Officer, Gambia Tourism Board.
The Gambia Tourism Board, it's one of its main priority is to revive the biodiversity of the Gambia, and as you may know that the Bijilo Forest Park is one of our tourism product that we are concentrating on. So that is why we are embarking on this tree planting exercise in fulfillment of the MB SAP. And MB SAP is a convention that was signed, of course, signed by the Gambia, in which there are 20 targets. And in trying to fulfill these 20 targets, the Gambia is also embarking on this tree planting exercise.
The Social Secretary of the Gambia Bird Watchers Association, Masane Sane, said tourists visit the park for many reasons, and bird watching is of no exception. According to Sane, trees are indispensable for both wildlife and human beings. The Deputy Director General of the Department of Forestry, Sam Munget, commended the British High Commission and the Association of Friends of Nature for providing the park with seedlings. He also applauded the Gambia Tourism Board, security, bird watchers, and tourist guards for their collaboration. The Deputy Director General said this initiative will address the issue of extinction of wildlife.
Coming to restock the place
is very, very important. The place is well